Hey, Ren, and welcome to BAM and A Plus Productions yearly MLB Preview, the episode where we make outlandish remarks and guesses, and we get to laugh at it at the end of October. We're your hosts. I'm Boris, and as always, I am joined by Matt.
Bonjour, and it's baseball season, Boris. Get your peanuts and Cracker Jack. And yeah, man, this is very exciting. It feels like spring is a-springin'. It is time to celebrate the great sport of baseball. Up and down, crazy sport, crazy rule changes coming in. Not this year, last year, previous seasons. And actually, there's the whole ABS system, which we could talk about, Boris. That's coming soon. The ability to challenge balls and strikes and robotic umpires and such. But for now, we still have a little bit of the game that we grew up with, playing baseball. You were better than me at the actual sport, I believe. You're a catcher. You're a good baseball player secretly, aren't you?
Yeah, I was. I basically played my whole life until I turned 18 at a pretty high level. And yeah, I was a catcher throughout that time. And yeah, man, it was good. I did some traveling in the minor leagues and all that, like minor league, not minor leagues, in the little league baseball and all that fun stuff. And then when it got too serious, I said, fuck it, because I knew I wasn't going to go anywhere with it. So, yeah.
Well, fair enough. But the game is near and dear to your heart, Boris, and mine as well. But you are a baseball nerd, and I love doing this thing with you, buddy. So let us get into the 2025 MLB preview. Before we start going deep, what are your big picture thoughts, especially as a Los Angeles Dodgers fan who is just king in the castle, Borat style right now?
Yeah, honestly, like, it's going to be look, if they don't repeat, it's going to be a failure of a year for the Dodgers, right? Like, that's kind of the consensus at this point. They've been able to sign some high key players to some insane contracts, right? If there's a contract available, the Dodgers are probably looking at it. So I think anything but a World Series is a failure for the Dodgers. But the reality is I think that there are some sneaky good teams in the MLB that will really put them to a test. Not the Yankees, but the Red Sox, I think.
I am with you there 100%. Yeah, the new evil empire in baseball are your Los Angeles Dodgers, but they go about it in a way that's somehow more fun than the old Yankees. I feel like I like the Dodgers more. Perhaps that's because they don't play in the Blue Jays division, buddy.
Exactly. That's probably a huge thing to do with it, right? But no, man, it'll be interesting to see what this year brings. This might be the last year of non-robotic, non-AI baseball. So let's have some with it. With this year's preview, though, we are going to be changing it up a little bit. We are going to do a regular, walk into the World Series and give the listeners who we predict will win the World Series. But we're also going to talk some of the player awards. We're going to be predicting who we think are going to win the MVP, Cy Young, and Rookies of the Year for both leagues.
Yes, not only that, but I do have the current FanDuel over-under number for every single team. So we're quickly going to go through every single team, couple sentences on each, and I will give that number off the top as well. So, Boris, let's get it going right away. Let's not dilly-dally anymore. Let's start in the National League, the senior circuit. What do you think?
Oh, man. This is going to be a very interesting league, man. It's going to be an interesting league. How are we going to do this? How do you want to do this?
I'm going to start at the bottom with the team that I think is the worst. I'll throw the over-under out at you, and then you tell me if you agree with my assessment of how bad or good this team will be.
All right, let's do it. Let's start with the worst in the National motherfucking League.
Yes, the worst team in the National League appears to me this season to be the Colorado Rockies. Their over-under is 59.5 wins. Baseball, one of only 3 teams to lose 100 last year. I don't think they've gotten much better yet. It's impossible to pitch in Denver, Colorado with that thin air. The Rockies are bad.
Yeah, they're in a complete rebuild. Right? Like, they gave up a lot of good players. They got some farm players, including from Toronto, about 10 years ago, but they gave them all up. And they went all in. around 18, 19, and it didn't pan out. So they are in a complete and utter rebuild. But this is a team, Colorado's a team that's going to be good in a few years again. But not right now, and not this year.
Yeah, there's no, sir, not this year. There are a couple names in the roster to like. They just picked Charlie Condon in the last draft, who looks like he could be a stud, just a giant home run hitting kid, could fit in real well in Colorado. I like this Adiel Amador that they have. He's a solid prospect. Zeke Tovar, the shortstop, was actually one of the best shortstops in baseball. Ezekiel Tovar is. So they got some boys there in Colorado. It's starting to take hold, but they are still one of the worst teams in baseball. And they're going to lose games. Like, even if they can score 6 runs, they're going to give up 7 to 10 almost every single game.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, Rockies are bad. Don't pick the Rockies to make the playoffs. Number 14. Boris, I have the Miami Marlins. They're slated to Vegas over under 63.5 wins. Vegas thinks they're the second worst team in the National League, and I agree. There's a universe where this team kind of worked out with all their pitching, their young pitching prospects, but Sandy Alcantara missed so much time. Yuri Perez, former number 1 prospect in baseball, currently on the injured list. No telling when he's going to come back. I believe he had a Tommy John, did Yuri Perez. There's a universe where the Marlins are good. This is not the universe where the Marlins are good.
No, they're just one of those perennial bad teams that get lucky once every decade or two and win one championship, and they blow up the team again, right? Like, that's what the Marlins are known to do. Both times they won the championship, that offseason, they blew up the teams. Yeah, they've been pretty bad for quite a long time.
Yeah, they snuck into the playoffs only a couple years ago, didn't do anything, and promptly shot their drawers again last year. And I think the team is closer to the one that lost a lot last year than the one that made the playoffs a few years ago. But yeah, so Marlins at 14 in the National League, that sounds good to me. Neither of those two teams have a chance to make the playoffs. This next team, for the first time in a long time, I would say also has no chance to make the playoffs. The St. Louis Cardinals, the lowest number in a while. FanDuel has them at 75.5 wins, and I don't think they sniff that. I think the Cardinals are going to be taking a big step back this year.
Yeah, which is weird, man, because the Cardinals are like always a sneaky good team. They've never been ridiculously shit until recently. I don't know. I to be 100% honest, I haven't followed the National League as much recently. Obviously, being here in Toronto and all that fun stuff. Even though I am a Dodgers guy, but yeah, it's just weird. It's just very, very weird.
Yeah, they had Jordan Walker, hot prospect. Played well in 2023, didn't do much in 2024, and was pretty quickly demoted. They have Paul Goldschmidt was their long-term star. He is now on the New York Yankees, and he took a big step back. Nolan Arenado, one of our favorites, awesome third baseman. He's taken a big step back. This is a team that's looking down the barrel of a pretty long rebuild, I feel like, the Cardinals. So it's not even that I think the Cardinals are like terrible. They're definitely a big step up on the Marlins and the Rockies as the over-under win total indicates, but I do think every single team in the National League that we're about to say is better than this current iteration of the Cardinals. So the only two National League teams that I would take the Cardinals above are the Marlins and Rockies. Everyone else is better than this team now.
Yeah, 100%. It's yeah, I agree 100% with you there.
But the Cardinals they're a legendary team, one of the oldest teams in baseball, have a great fan base. They will be back.
Bane to Los Angeles existence, right? Like, I fear facing the Cardinals in the playoffs most of the time.
Exactly. Yeah. How many times have they knocked out the Dodgers? How many times have they knocked out the Cubs from the playoffs? Indeed. But it is a step back for the Cardinals this year. Another team that I feel like is getting there, but they're not going to challenge for the playoffs, partly because their division is fucking loaded with competition. I have the Washington Nationals at 12. Vegas has them at 70.5 wins. I do think they're better than the Cardinals, but that's it.
Yeah, that NL East is stacked. We saw that last year. The Nationals are in a weird rebuild. They're in this half rebuild that just doesn't work more often than not in sports. I think this is the right place. I can see them at 75 wins, to be honest, ish. but they're not cracking 80. That's for damn sure.
Yeah, I would almost flip the win totals of the last teams. Like Washington's closer to 75 and St. Louis is closer to 70 to me. But yes, I agree with that. They do have some nice prospects. Dylan Cruz for Washington. Spoiler alert, I'm going to be talking about him in a little bit. But it's the ball is starting to roll downhill for Washington, but they ain't there yet. And with the Phillies, Braves, and Mets all in their division, those teams are all very, very good. Washington's a little screwed right now. They're a little log jammed. So yeah, Washington does not have a chance to make the playoffs. I have them at number 12 in the senior circuit, the NL.
Yep. I like it.
All right. So now I think from this point forward, all of these teams could make the playoffs if it breaks right. If the balls be flying out of the stadium, if the pitchers be hurling that pill real well, it wouldn't shock me if any of these teams made the playoffs. But you got to rank one of them at the bottom of this tier, and I do think right now we have the Cincinnati Reds coming in at 11. FanDuel has them at 79.5 wins, so knocking on the door of 500, not quite there. With Cincinnati, it's like a couple of their prospects have panned out huge, like Ellie De La Cruz, who looks to be possibly an MVP candidate, one of the best players in baseball. Some of their prospects really didn't pan out at all. Jonathan India has been traded out of town. He had a couple good seasons, but he's gone. He went to Kansas City. Is it Noelvi Martinez, the guy who got popped for steroids, who was formerly one of the top prospects in baseball? He looks like it might not happen for him. So there's a lot of names in Cincinnati that were hyped very, very big. They're supposed to be the next big thing in baseball, and they didn't quite hit. Really, the only one who seems to be achieving his potential is Ellie De La Cruz.
Yeah. I agreed. And here's the thing about Cincinnati. I think the fact that both the Pirates, and Cardinals have had a bit of a quiet winter, that's what's giving the Cincinnati Reds somewhat of a lift. Not so much the Pirates, more the Cardinals than anything else. If you're taking a look at the Central specifically,
yes, I agree with that. There are some sleeping giants in the NL Central. I do think there are some pretty solid teams here if you look at it. And and having said that, if the Reds did come together and gel and win 85 to 90 games and make the playoffs, it wouldn't shock me. There's a clear tier drop off here between the Reds and the Nationals. I feel like the Reds, Vegas has them at 79.5. That's pretty well bang on to me. I can see the Reds easily going 80 and 82, missing the playoffs, but kind of taking a couple guys taking another step. They did bring in your boy Gavin Lux, formerly of the Dodgers. He's another prospect that didn't quite work out, but now the Reds are going to try to rejuvenate him. Are they the team to do it? I don't know.
I don't know. I that's a hard one, right? But you know what? There's no harm in taking that risk. We being a Toronto fan, we know all about risks. We're doing a major one with one of our pitchers this year, so we'll see what happens if it pans out there.
Yes. So yeah, Cincinnati Reds at 11. Number 10 in the National League, I have the San Francisco Giants. FanDuel has them also at 79.5 wins. If you look at their stats from last year, they were just right in the middle of the pack in every possible way almost. They're like an okay team. They finished 80 and 82 last year, and I just kind of figure they're running that exact same season back. Like, not great, not terrible. A pretty middle of the pack team are these San Francisco Giants. 79.5 sounds bang on to me.
Yeah, I can see them going anywhere from 77 to 80. That's kind of where I would put the Giants, to be 100% honest. Thing is, though, right? If you take a look at the Giants, this is only the second team that we've talked about from the NL West. It just goes to show you how strong that NL West actually is.
Yes, and the other team in the NL West is Colorado, who is god-awful. And if the Giants did fuck around and make the playoffs, would it shock you? Would you lose sleep over it? No. It would kind of make sense, but yeah, I have the Giants right here at 79.5. It sounds like you agree.
Yep.
All right, 9th in the National League, the Pittsburgh Pirates. Here's a team that's taking a step up. Paul Skenes, super stud pitcher, boyfriend of Livy Dunn. He might already be the best pitcher alive on Earth already. Paul Skenes from the Pittsburgh Pirates.
Yeah, Yeah, Pittsburgh is an interesting team. They've had a very quiet offseason. Does that mean that they don't want to spend, they can't spend, or are they happy with their team? Either one of those is a very interesting choice. What do you have them at?
Ninth in the NL.
With how many wins?
Pittsburgh's over under win total on FanDuel 75.5. So I do have them rated above some of the teams who have more wins in the bank, but Vegas figures them around 76.
Okay. 76. Even that I kind of seems a little high. I would rate this a little too high of a pick, to be 100% honest. I would put them low, so here's in the mid to low 70s. But okay, let's keep going with this.
I respect that. To me, what Pittsburgh does really well is pitches the ball. Not just Paul Skenes, but Bubba Chandler looks to be a super prospect. He could be Rookie of the Year in the National League easily. They have Jared Jones, who apparently does not need Tommy John surgery. He will be back pretty soon by like mid-May, it looks like. That is a sick 1-2-3 of young players, feeling a little Seattle Mariners-ish. Anyone who can hit the ball. Well, we're supposed to have O'Neal Cruz. We're supposed to have Brian Hayes, who's really more of a fielder than a Termar Johnson is a second baseman prospect who could possibly play this year and could be pretty goddamn good for the Pirates. They have some young boys in place, but it's a little too early for these Pirates.
Yeah, I agree. Spencer Horowitz is going to be good as well. He's a new addition to the Pirates. They've done some stuff here and there, but I don't know. It's the Pirates. When you look at like teams making the playoffs and teams that have made playoffs, the Pirates don't jump at you. Again, similar to what we just said about the Giants. If they make the playoffs, they won't make a splash.
Agreed. Yeah, it wouldn't shock you. But I don't know. I don't think they're quite there yet, although the pitching is definitely in place. So, yeah, that was the number 9 team, Pittsburgh Pirates. Next up, I have the number 8 team in the National League to be the San Diego Padres, the fathers of San Diego, the whale's vagina fathers. Vegas says that their over and under is 85.5 wins. I have them under that 85. This, to me, feels like a team that might be sellers rather than buyers. I feel like the Padres are kind of lost in the middle a little bit. That might be silly of me, though, because these Padres did challenge your Dodgers very, very well last year. They almost had them in the playoffs, but something about this Padres team feels off to me this year.
What do you mean by off? What are you thinking? Because, I don't know, to rate the Diamondbacks above the Padres, interesting choice. Can't wait to hear what your thoughts on that are. But why do you put the Padres this low?
It's really not a pick against the Padres. Like 85.5 means they could win 85 games and miss the playoffs, which one or two teams do every single year. The Mariners did it last year in the American League. I do think that's kind of what we're looking at for the Padres, but it's just a matter of all of the next 7 teams in the National League I feel are superior to the San Diego Padres. And again, it's like not the most scientific pick when I say I feel like they're gonna start selling and take a step back, but it's a little bit of a gut feeling. It's a little bit like they've given the Dodgers their best punch. They've given it their best shot over the last 2 years. Haven't been able to scale that mountain, and now I think they're just. I think they kind of peaked and they're going downhill at least for a season or two.
No, here's the other thing, right? I just wanted to kind of get your thoughts on this because it's true. Over the winter they did lose a lot, and a lot of it, Peter Seidler, their main exec, he passed away. So a lot of people are saying that this is just the new era. This is the new thought process on where the Padres are at, right? It's been a couple years at this point, and like you said, everyone's pointing to the Padres being sellers this year. In addition to what you said, they've given it their all. They put in a shit ton of money over the past few years. It didn't pan out, and now they're back to the drawing board.
And if you look at their roster, they got some injuries in some key places. A couple guys who made some big contributions, such as Jerkson Profar and some other people have just left town in San Diego. So yeah, I think they're a little weaker than they were last year, and they are going to get passed by the next 7 teams.
Yep. All right. Let's keep it going, my friend.
So number 7, this is a team that if they were healthy, they would easily be in my top 6, but I'm going to have them bumped out just a little bit because of health reasons, because they have a lot of people who are banged up and who aren't going to be playing with this team to start the season. That is the Atlanta Braves. I have them just missing the playoffs by a hair this year. The Braves, the over-under is 93.5 on FanDuel right now. So Vegas loves them, and they think that you, the bettor, will be betting around that number. Like, there's no real reason to discredit the Braves. On paper, they have an absolutely fucking sick roster. They really do. But Ronald Acuna, he's hurt. Spencer Strider still hurt. All these guys, they're big stars. If you look, they're going to miss at least a month or two. And I feel like the Braves are going to start behind the 8 ball. And that's going to hurt them in this really stacked National League.
Yeah, I can see them having a run that the Mets had last year, where it kind of started badly, and then out of the blue, they're just going to wake the F up. That's the type of season I think the Braves are going to have. I do think that the division is between them and the Phillies. The Phillies they're just an older team that's fucking good. But, not to take anything away from the Braves or the Mets, but interesting, and they're a team I will accept where they are, but I can see them being just sneaky good and sneakily getting into the playoffs in a better position.
It could be like last year, they had a great regular season and then got all these injuries that they're still suffering from and made the playoffs with a depleted team and got the doors blown off them.
Yeah.
This year, the opposite could happen. Like you said, they could be like the Mets last year or the Astros were last year, start really slow and then start accelerating, sneak into the playoffs with a crazy team that's ready to go.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, so Atlanta Braves under 93.5 to me is one of the safest bets just because I do think the National League is stacked. Sorry to our boys who like the Atlanta Braves. Sean Burkhead, especially. Sorry, Berkey. But yeah, no, I just think the Braves are in a really tough National League with all of these injuries that they have right now. So the Braves will just miss the playoffs.
Yep. Okay. Cool. Interesting. Yeah, I can see that. But like I said, it's one of those things that they're in a very interesting division, and anything can happen.
Indeed. They could be better than this next team. At number 6, I have the Chicago Cubs. Vegas has them at 86.5 is the number. I think they're floating around that number for sure. I like the pitching a lot. Justin Steele looks pretty sick. They have some nice prospects coming up. And I really enjoy the Chicago Cubs team. This is where Kyle Tucker from the Houston Astros has landed. He might only be here for one season, but he's one of the best hitters in baseball. He is exactly what this team needed. Honestly, the Cubs could use 1 or 2 more strong bats. But if you look up and down this lineup, I do feel like the Chicago Cubs are a playoff team. And I think they're number 6 in the National League, especially with Kyle Tucker. They need him to go, but he's been going his whole career, brother.
Yeah, I was going to say Kyle Tucker is the one that makes the difference for the Cubs. He's the one that's going to put them over that hump. And this is a good spot for them.
Great. Yeah. The Cubs, the Wrigley faithful. Shout out CM Punk and Harry Carey. Number 5, we're going to go with the New York Metropolitans. I have here at number 5. I think they're going to be above the Braves. Vegas has them at 90.5 wins. I could see the Mets winning 90 games and making the playoffs easy. This is where Juan Soto landed, one of the greatest hitters in baseball, one of the fattest contracts ever handed out to a professional athlete. He signed to leave the Yankees to go to the Mets. And yeah, Juan Soto is going to help this team a lot, just like he helped the Yankees last year. He's the kind of guy his approach to hitting apparently is so contagious, and he's such a smart hitter, and just the way he approaches the game has rubbed off on his teammates. That definitely did so with the Yankees, and I feel like his influence will help the New York Mets, who went on a miracle run last year, and with the OMG Mets with Grimace in the dugout and numerous people wearing Grimace costumes in the audience. Let's run it back for 2025.
Interesting. So I will point out right now they are facing some injury problems. There's a lot of pressure tons of fucking pressure on Mark Vientos to be a breakout star and to be the guy to carry them forward. Edwin Diaz, you don't know what you're going to get with him either, but you have Juan Soto. So yeah, they're going to be a good team.
I think the lineup is going to be good. They definitely have some people who need to step up. I like Brett Beatty, I believe it's pronounced. Baty. He is a third baseman prospect. He looks like he's going to steal a job, and he's had an amazing spring. That doesn't necessarily always translate, but he's been sick in spring training. He looks like an absolutely real one. Sneaky ad in fantasy leagues if you're looking for a third baseman. Brent Beatty for the New York Mets. They have a really good team.
Yep, they do.
Number 4, this is where I'm putting my Arizona Diamondbacks, the Snakes, Boris. They aren't going to win the division because the Los Angeles Dodgers play in their division. But Vegas likes them too. 86.5 is the number for the Arizona Diamondbacks. They signed Corbin Burnes away from Baltimore. Corbin Burnes is an unbelievable pitcher. They have a deep rotation. They were a World Series team, don't you forget, in 2023, a little ahead of schedule there, but they missed the playoffs last year because of a slow start. They still won a lot of games last year. I believe they won 85-86 and just missed the playoffs by a hair's breadth. I like these Diamondbacks a lot. Lots of good hitters. Corbin Carroll started super slow, had a sophomore slump, but he adjusted and he heated up at the end of the season. I feel like we're going to get the Corbin Carroll that we saw in 2023. Our boys, Gurriel and Marino, ex of the Toronto Blue Jays, both big contributors in Arizona. So many pitchers. Brandon Pfaadt, I like a lot. Corbin Burnes is an ace on 28 of the 30 teams in the league. I fucking love the Diamondbacks.
Yeah, they're a damn good team. They're again damn good team, courtesy of the Toronto Blue Jays. It's no denying how good this team is. Like you said, 23. They did make the World Series, losing to Texas last year. If they made the playoffs, they would have had a hell of a run. But sometimes weird shit happens. It's for a sport that has 162 games in the regular season. Man, it's insane how every fucking game matters sometimes.
Truly does. And with the weird rules in baseball, you can win your division and win less games than a team like Arizona and still make the playoffs. Arizona last year won 89 games, Boris. They won 89 last year and missed the playoffs because of just some tiebreakers and some things going wrong for them. But man, like one swing of the bat, one missed pitch, and this team's in the playoffs last year too. So yeah, Arizona's a really good young team, and I think they're here to stay. Give me the Diamondbacks, 4th in the National League this year. They will crush that 86.5. I think the Diamondbacks are closer to winning 100 than they are to a 500 record. They're closer to winning 100 than they are 80.
Yeah, here's the thing about the Diamondbacks, the Padres, the Giants, and I guess the Rockies, is that they play in the division with the Dodgers. They play the Dodgers the most. That's just hurting you off the get-go.
That hurts. It certainly does. And conversely, the weakest division in the National League, probably the National League Central. So I have the Milwaukee Brewers winning the NL Central just because they're that team that everybody sleeps on. Even Las Vegas and FanDuel sleeping on them. 82.5 wins for the Milwaukee Brewers. Straight up disrespect. This team is always hanging in there. Big bounce back year apparently coming from Christian Yelich, who finally they say is healthy, and it's basically his last chance to put it all together, but it seems like he's going to put it all together. The Brewers just they get it done. They're that sneaky team that everybody sleeps on, and I'm waking up to these Milwaukee Brewers. So maybe this will finally be the year that they shit their drawers, but they won 93 games last year. They didn't lose that much, if anything, and they're down at 82.5. I just think that's because people forget about this weird team in Milwaukee.
Yeah, 100%. They're a team they're a sleeper team for sure. Interesting that you have them that high. I'm really thinking about this. Man, this is a hard one. This is a really hard one to judge. You know what? I'll give it to you. I'll give you this one. Let's not sleep on the Brewers.
all three of the top seeds must be the three division winners, right? So the third seed probably is going to be the NL Central champ. The NL Central teams are Brewers, Cubs, Pirates, Reds, and Cardinals. I don't think it's going to be the Cardinals who wins this division. Any one of the other four teams could easily win the NL Central. Reds, Pirates, Cubs, or Brewers could win this division, and it wouldn't surprise a single person. So give me the Brewers pedigree. Give me this complete roster, coaching staff, everything. I'll take the Brewers, but if you want to say the Braves will certainly make the playoffs over either the Cubs or Brewers and possibly bump the Cubs up to this number 3 seed, I would accept that, but I'm putting the Brewers here.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, I accept it.
All right, move on to the second best team in the National League. The over-under at 90.5 for the Philadelphia Phillies. As you said, just a veteran squad of bangers. Bryce Harper, Trey Turner, Zach Wheeler, names you know and have known for a long time. If you're a baseball fan, this is a complete team. They made the playoffs last year, won 95 games last year. There is no reason to believe they aren't as good as they were last season.
Yeah. I don't really have much more to add. They're a damn good team. They're going to be a damn good team. But similar to what we just set up at the Brewers, right? There's other teams in that division that could possibly sneak into this spot. But I think that the veteran presence that the Phillies have is going to put them over the hump.
Yes, I agree. So the NL East is Phillies division. The NL East teams are the Phillies, the Mets, the Braves, the Nationals, and the Marlins. Marlins are dog shit. Nationals are mediocre, but not sniffing that division. Braves, Mets, or Phillies could all easily win the East, but give me the Phillies just because the Mets and the Braves have some question marks. We've talked about the Braves' injury woes. I think they're going to take a while to get going. And you mentioned the Mets just have some question marks up and down the lineup other than Juan Soto. That is fair. But yeah, the Phillies are just absolutely complete. If not for the Dodgers, this is the best team in baseball. Phillies are the second best team in baseball.
Yep. Fair assessment.
And number 1 in the National League, I'm not this hot. I can't think of a take this hot to put this team down. Los Angeles Dodgers, Vegas, and FanDuel have them winning 105.5 games. So they have to go 106 wins or higher to break that over under. And guess what? I would still pick the over. This team is fucking sick. We said it before on this podcast last time we did an episode talking about the Dodgers Cubs Tokyo series, but the Dodgers have the best lineup. They have the best bullpen, and they probably have the best starting rotation now too, at least like top 3, top 5 starting rotation. That was the big thing that hurt them last year was their starting pitching, and they still won 98 games and were the National League's best team last year. They won the World Series last year, and they only got better. This team is fucking terrifying.
Yep, agreed. Like we talk about the Dodgers quite a bit here, especially with me being a huge Dodgers fan. With Sasaki, which we'll talk about later, and others. Yeah, there's so much that I'll be shocked if they don't get under 100 wins. Right, like that's where I'm at with this team.
Yeah, over 100 wins. But yes, I agree. So something that I've read, Boris, is that there are people saying this is the best roster they've ever seen, the best roster of their lifetime, one of the best baseball teams ever assembled on paper. Would you go that far as a Dodgers fan?
It's hard for me to flat out say yes. Like, I try to not be that cocky, but this team's fucking great. Like, dude, Dave Roberts can sit down, have a nap, have a smoke a joint, do whatever he does at home, read a book, and still be winning Manager of the Year award. Like, this guy doesn't need to do a thing. And I hope he doesn't do a thing because, like last year proved, when he doesn't meddle, they win.
Yeah, absolutely. That's almost what he has to do is take his foot off the gas completely. Just let the players play. This Dodgers team, I think it's definitely one of the best teams of the last 10 years, 20 years on paper. It's absolutely sick. 105 wins somehow feels low. This team's already 2-0 and the season hasn't even started yet for us. By God, how'd they do it?
I know, it's crazy, man. It's absolutely fucking crazy. I love it though.
Okay,
I absolutely love it.
So let's quickly do our playoff picks for the National League right now, and we'll stop there before the World Series. So in this scenario, the number 3 seed plays the number 6 seed, the number 4 plays the number 5. So I would have Milwaukee versus Chicago, Arizona versus the New York Mets. I would take Milwaukee over the Cubs this year in a playoff series, and I'm taking Arizona over the Mets if that happens. So we would have Dodgers versus Arizona, Philadelphia versus Milwaukee. I'm still going Dodgers and Philadelphia. I do like Arizona a lot, but if they're playing the Dodgers round 2, they're not going to make the World Series this year. So LA Dodgers versus Philadelphia is my NLCS, and I just can't pick against this gargantuan Dodgers team. I don't have the balls to do it. 7-game series, anything could happen. And if anyone's going to beat them, it's going to be the Philadelphia Phillies. But I don't think they can do it this year.
Yeah, I agree with everything you said there. Man, but having a Brewers-Cubs series in the playoffs, that rivalry. Like, people don't realize, especially if you're an American League fan, how deep that rivalry fucking goes. It is insane how much those two teams hate each other. Having that in the playoffs, that would be a series to watch.
That would be some fun baseball. But yes, the Los Angeles Dodgers will win the National League in the regular season, will win the National League pennant in the playoffs. Dodgers to the World Series. That's your senior circuit preview. I think other than Brewers and Braves, I think we pretty much aligned. I guess you're higher on the Padres too. Final thoughts on the National League this year?
Man, Dodgers. Like, I feel sorry for anyone playing against them a lot, right? Like, we only play them once a year, or like one series a year. Cool. But that team is just so freaking good on paper. Like I said, it's to me, it's a failure of a year if they don't win it all. And I'm going to maintain that as we keep going.
That's the expectations they have put on themselves and that the city is putting on them, but it's fair because their roster is filthy. They're the new Yankees. They're the team that buys all the talent, and let's see how it plays out in October. But yeah, Dodgers are nasty. If you haven't gotten that impression already, let us go to the American League, starting at the bottom. No surprise to anybody. Vegas has them at 54.5. What a small number for the Chicago White Sox. They were fucking atrocious last year. A garbage barge, a tire fire. The second worst team of all time statistically in terms of most losses. Only the 1899 Cleveland Spiders lost more games than these White Sox in the history of baseball last year, Boris.
Yeah, they're still shit, and somehow I feel like they've gotten worse. Like, they did nothing to improve themselves.
No, they didn't, and they traded away a lot of their talent last year. They do have a couple like half decent pieces here who might be traded later on. But yeah, this is, if there is ever a rebuilding team, it's the team that lost 121 fucking games last year. The White Sox are bad. Your local baseball team can probably beat the White Sox.
Yeah, it's really bad, man. It's really, really bad.
I would take the Toledo Mud Hens over the Chicago White Sox. Okay, so White Sox are bad. Number 14, the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim. Nothing really there. There are some young pieces. I like this Zach Neto shortstop. There's a couple younger players who are decent. The Angels, though, they've allegedly. It looks like they have wasted all of Mike Trout's career. He's been banged up now. I don't know if he's ever going to be the Mike Trout that we used to know and love. They should trade him as soon as possible to get some value back. They can't just let Mike Trout walk away one day like they did with Shohei Ohtani, who they could have traded to absolutely fill their cupboard with prospects. They did not, and that really set the Angels back a lot, but I also understand how hard it would be to trade Ohtani during a season. But yeah, the Los Angeles Angels, their number is 72.5 wins. I'd be surprised if that went over.
Yeah, I'd be very surprised. I'd bet under on that one, to be 100% honest. Yeah, Trout, Ohtani, and others. this team, how did they not win a World Series? How did they not win a World Series? And the other question I have is, at what point in the season will Mike Trout get injured for the season?
No, I was hoping you would say traded. I was hoping the word was going to be traded, but at this point, that's a fair question, I think. Yeah, the Angels are bad. Do not bet on the Angels. Last year, they won 63 games. I think 72 and a half is a little high for these Angels.
Yep, unfortunately. Unfortunately. The fact that you have them rated higher than the Athletics is very interesting, though. So,
yeah. Well, coming up next, we have the Athletics, formerly of Oakland. They're playing this season in Sacramento and then moving to Las Vegas, we hope, if a stadium is ready. But the Athletics of Sacra Vegas clan are my 13th rated team. Vegas has them at 71 and a half wins. That seems about right. I do think there's going to be some, like, y'all, like, no one believes in us. Like, everyone is disrespecting us. We don't even have a home city. Like, the players, there's some young talent there. I really like this Tyler Soderstrom, first baseman / catcher, kind of like a Willian Contreras type. Hopefully he can swing the bat. There's some good pitching there. JP Sears impressed me last year. They got I'm blanking on his name now from the Rays. Is it Springs? They got from the Tampa Bay Rays. So there are some living, breathing players in Sacra Oakland this year. But ultimately they aren't much better than this.
yeah, it's unfortunate, man. This team, I really do feel sorry for them, the players and the players' families. Like the just, knowing that in a few years, if you're still on the team, which chances are you won't be, you're gonna have to pick up and move yet again, most likely. Like, it's crazy, it's dumb.
Yeah.
Like, I don't understand how they're allowing this to happen. Well, you know why, but it's just bullshit.
Yeah, it's money in the lure of eventually getting to Vegas, which hopefully is happening next year, but isn't even set in stone. I don't think the arena is completed yet. But yeah, so the ownership just really hated the Oakland market, the Oakland fan base, and I feel bad for Oakland, who the Oakland
everyone.
Athletics were a sick team. They were such a good team historically, man. Like, they won World Series in the 70s, and they had some awesome iconic players. Ricky Henderson obviously comes to mind, but they were the team. Moneyball. Brad Pitt played Billy Bean in a movie about the Oakland Athletics, and now they're going to be lost to time.
Yep, Canseco, Henderson, they had names, man. One of the most famous games in all of baseball happened with the Athletics. It's sad. It's really sad to see, and more so than the Athletics. I just feel bad for Oakland. They've literally lost all their pro teams, and Oakland is already a bit of a shady city, and this is just not making things any better in that city. Like, it is a shit show in Oakland right now.
Raiders move to Las Vegas. Athletics move to Las Vegas. Oakland must hate Vegas at this point. And then, the Golden State Warriors played in Oakland forever. And then they moved to San Francisco a couple years ago, although they are still the Golden State Warriors. Oakland has lost 3 professional sports teams in the last 10 years. Boy, that hurts.
Yep. It really sucks, man. I do feel for any Oakland fan or anyone living in Oakland. Like, it's really sad. It's really sad. A team and teams with so much history, just like how easy people forget. It's like, all right, fuck you guys. Let's go where the money's at.
Yeah, so sad. This number was 71 and a half. Last year, the Athletics won 69 games. And again, that feels about right. There might be some, like, nobody believed in us, like some people trying to fight for respect, but I don't think that'll be enough to even crack 500.
Yeah, agreed.
Next up, another team with a lot of question marks here at number 12. And just like, okay, in the National League, we talked about the Nationals, Cardinals, Marlins, Rockies. There's like a big drop off there. This is where the drop off happens to me in the American League. The White Sox, Angels, Athletics are shit. They're no good. They're not making the playoffs. Everyone else from this point on, they could probably make the playoffs, starting with the 12th ranked Tampa Bay Rays. Vegas has them at 80 and a half wins. Last year, they won 80 games. I think the Rays are going to finish last in the AL East this year. Now, the Tampa Bay Rays are not playing in their home stadium this year due to hurricane damage. They're playing in a minor league stadium all year, 81 games in a shorter stadium. That might help the bats in Tampa Bay. But the thing is, it's also going to help the opponent's bats when they come to town. So the thing that Tampa Bay usually does really well is pitch and play defense. I think playing in a minor league park obviously hurts those two things, and I think it's going to be a year of fluctuation for these Tampa Bay Rays. 80 sounds about right. 12.
Yeah, here's the thing about that, right? Any over-under, always go over this year. That's just the golden rule for betting against any Tampa Bay game where they play in Florida.
Yeah, yes. George Steinbrenner Field, I believe it is, the New York Yankees spring training stadium is where the Tampa Bay Rays will be plying their craft this year. And yeah, for individual games, take the over. Boys are going to be hitting balls out of that stadium. Although it is the humid Florida air, it will be raining a lot. Maybe it won't be as dramatic a change as we think, but it's still a minor league stadium. Like, it's still very hard to predict what you're going to get. Also, Shane McClanahan, he's like a sick pitcher for Tampa Bay. He seems to be banged up coming into the season. He's a sneaky pick for Cy Young, and I don't think he's going to play enough to warrant Cy Young consideration. So yeah, I have the Tampa Bay Rays here at 80 wins.
Yep. I would. That's fair. Kind of like right in the beginning of the half decent teams. So that's yeah. I'm good.
Okay, so next up, this is a tough one. This is one of the hardest teams to rank in the entire exercise. 82.5 is what Vegas says the number is for the Cleveland Guardians. Now, last year, the Guardians made the playoffs. They won 92. The year before that, the Guardians were bad. And for if you go back and look since 2020, Cleveland's been a good year, bad year kind of pattern. And I think this is going to be yet another year where Cleveland lost a little bit and other teams will have figured them out. So 82.5, I think they're slightly under. I think the Guardians could be 81 right on that 500 winning percentage mark. And I do think the Guardians are going to miss the playoffs this year.
Here's the thing about the Guardians, right? The Guardians are always better than what they are on paper. Having said that, I think 500 is a perfect place to put them.
They had some great pitching in the past couple of years, and that pitching is banged up and is kind of gone. They lost a lot on the offense, Josh Naylor most namely, but they lost some pieces here in Cleveland. Shane Bieber is not the guy he used to be. Tristan McKenzie, Sticks McKenzie, as they call him, he's coming back from a pretty serious injury, which he refused to get Tommy John on, which might have hurt his career long term. We shall see. But yeah, I'm thinking step back here for the Cleveland Guardians.
Yep, that's fair.
So they're at 82.5. Next up, Vegas has them at 83.5. I have the Detroit Tigers at 10th. Very similar build to the Cleveland Guardians. The Tigers have Tariq Skubal, who won the AL Cy Young last year. He's an absolutely fucking sick pitcher. He could be the best pitcher in the league again. But the Tigers need a lot right. Need a lot to go right for them to even break 84 and hit this over-under. They won 86 games last year, did sneak into the playoffs. These Detroit Tigers did, but I don't think they'll be doing it again.
And that's the thing, right? Like you just said it, they sneaked into the playoffs. They had, if you were in a coma from April to mid-August, and you just saw mid-August to early October Tigers, you would think that they were the best team in the league. That's just not the case. I think they got very lucky. I think everything lined up for them. I'm not saying that they're bad, but if you remember the Tigers at the end of the season, don't expect that.
Yeah, it might be fool's gold to expect that for sure. Like, they were terrible for more than they were good last year. They were bad for 4 months, really absolutely unbelievable for 2 months, and in a national or in an American League, where teams were kind of stumbling down the stretch, the Tigers accelerated past all of them, made the playoffs, won a playoff round. But yeah, I think they a little bit of too much too soon for these Tigers. If Tariq Skubal falters at all, they're completely screwed. But even then, he's a starting pitcher. He's throwing 30 to 35 games a year, and that's it. And he's not only the best player that the Tigers have, but really the only star they have. I don't know. I think it's just a matter of all of these teams that are coming up are better than the Detroit Tigers.
Agreed.
All right, number 9. This might be a little bit of a controversial pick, but this is another team that is really banged up, has lost some big pieces. They're deep, but there are some question marks with the Baltimore Orioles. I think long term they're going to be okay, but I have them at number 9 in the AL this year. I really do. 86.5 wins is the mark for Baltimore. And if you look at their last few seasons, they won in 2023, they won 100 games. Last year, they won 91 games. And I think this is going to be another step back for Baltimore. I just think Corbin Burns left the team to go to Arizona. Anthony Santander, Tony Taters left to join the Toronto Blue Jays, a player that they really badly needed, a power bat, left-handed swinging in the outfield. Grayson Rodriguez currently injured. He's going to miss a little bit of time. If you look at their pitching staff, it's a little thin right now, Boris. They need Jackson Holliday to step up and really take that mantle. I just think this team is a little bit vulnerable, and every team that we're going to talk about consequently is just a little bit better this year. So long term, they have so much youth. They're going to be fine, but I think this is a year the Orioles miss the playoffs.
Yeah, I agreed. They lost more than they got in the offseason, right? Then that's going to show in the standings. So I agree with you on this.
Absolutely. And the thing is, like, they could afford to lose Corbin Burns theoretically because they have all these young pitchers, and a lot of these young pitchers are now hurt themselves. So yeah, their rotation is pretty thin to start the season. Baltimore is in a little tiny bit of trouble. So I have them at number 9. Number 8 in the American League. I love this team, but I can't bring myself to pick them ahead of anyone else. The Minnesota Twins. On paper, this is a solid team. They need a lot to go right, though. And this is another team that already coming into the season is having some injury woes, Boris. Their two best players, possibly Byron Buxton and Royce Lewis, will not be starting the season healthy. Royce Lewis he's looking to be a fucking Band-Aid. When he's on the field, he's so good, but he can't play a full season. He's just constantly hurt. Third baseman, shortstop for these Minnesota Twins. They have Pablo Lopez as their ace. He's a really good pitcher, but other than that, I don't know about the rotation. There's some question marks. I still think they're a good team, but I can't pick them ahead of anyone else. So we're going number 8, Minnesota Twins.
Yep, I think that's very fair. The injuries again they're already affecting them. That was one of the major question marks already coming into the season. And well, we've got our answers, and Royce is injured, and yeah, man, it's just we'll see. They are a good team if healthy, but they're not. So let's see how they go.
Exactly. They need a lot of players to step up. They have a good prospect, Walker Jenkins, who might come into the league, but he seems to be a little bit away. Matt Wallner, they call him the Minnesota Moose. He needs to jack 40 to 50 home runs and take a huge step up if Minnesota's going to do anything this year. The Twinkies are in a little bit of a downturn. For these Minnesota Twins. 84.5 wins, 84 to 85, and just missing the playoffs sounds about right. All right, this is a debate that we're going to have live on the air coming up next, Boris. I have written down in pencil, not pen. Number 7, New York Yankees. Vegas has them at 88.5 wins. Number 6, Toronto Blue Jays. I can't quit you, Blue Jays. 79.5 wins. Look at the Jays in 2023. Their record was way better than it was in 2024 when the Blue Jays only won 74 games. Now, the Blue Jays really needed a left-handed bat who could smash home runs and play good outfield. They got Anthony Santander. Tony Taters, he's supposed to be that guy. The New York Yankees lost their ace, Garrett Cole. He ain't playing baseball. Their pitching staff is pretty thin, man. Marcus Stroman, former Toronto Blue Jay, is going to need to play really important minutes for the New York Yankees. Clay Holmes, who was their closer last year, is now the New York Mets starter. Please go ahead.
I was going to say they also don't have a third baseman. And this is baseball. One player, Aaron Judge, will not be able to carry the entire offense again. There are so many questions regarding the Yankees right now that even 7th might be a little too high, in my opinion. But they are the Yankees. They're going to find ways to win. I'm not saying that Judge isn't good. I'm not saying that they won't be able to find someone for third baseman. Maybe someone who wants to play third baseman. Maybe a son of a third baseman and whatnot. You never know what can happen at this point. Yeah, we'll see. The Yankees they're in an interesting position. Putting the Jays higher than the Yankees. Look, I know we're biased, but Bo Bichette's in a contract year. Yeah, Vladimir is in a contract year. These motherfuckers are going to be playing for their lives.
Abso-fucking-lutely, buddy. Yes. And in 2023, the Jays finished comfortably ahead of the Yankees. Yankees were 82-80 that year. Juan Soto came in 2024. The Yankees won 94 games, won the American League, crushed the Blue Jays. Yes. But they lost Juan Soto. He gone. He is not playing, and he completely transformed that team. Now, did 1 year of having this prodigy who has one of the greatest eyes in baseball, one of the greatest approaches to hitting that the game has literally ever seen, did playing with him for 1 year rub off on enough guys? Like, I don't know. Aaron Judge had a terrible playoff, a terrible World Series, and he lost his security blanket, his buddy in the lineup. Like, it's easier to pitch to Aaron Judge when you know that Juan Soto is nowhere to be fucking found. Like, you don't have to worry about Juan Soto. He doesn't factor in to the Aaron Judge experience anymore.
And that's been a huge criticism of that we've had about the Toronto Blue Jays, where no one is there to help Vladimir, right? Now, pitchers are going to be pitching to him. They don't have to pitch around him. Bo Bichette's around. You got Santander. You got even Alexander Kirk. Kudos on the new contract. You have players who can bat to help Vladimir. That was probably their biggest issue with the offense last year, was pitchers they didn't need to pitch to Vladimir. And with Vladimir and Bichette both being on contract years, oh man.
Yes. Doesn't it just feel like, as a longtime Jays fan, the Jays are going to do enough to make the playoffs, get the doors blown off them in the playoffs again, and then Vlad and Bo will walk. But yes, Vladimir Guerrero Jr. has been absolutely sick his entire career. He's had one or two hiccups, but last year he was an MVP caliber player. Bo Bichette has largely been awesome. Had one down year last season. They got the exact guy they needed in Santander. They brought in, the Jays did, Andreas Jimenez, who's an incredible defensive second baseman. He's going to be in second base playing that where they had a big hole last year. And just based on the injuries that the Yankees have to their pitching staff and the giant gaping hole that Juan Soto left in their lineup, I think the Jays are going to sneak into the 6th spot ahead of the Yankees. Yankees 88.5 wins, way under for the Yankees. Blue Jays 79.5 wins, way over, knowing that we're biased, of course. And I'm sure if you're a New York Yankees fan, you've turned this podcast off long ago, but we're going Blue Jays over Yankees this season. Let's go Toronto, back out.
Yep. Let's go. Let's keep on going with this because man, things are getting interesting here. All right, let's get your top 5.
Top 5. Number 5, we're going Seattle Mariners. In the AL West, they can't hit, but boy, can they pitch. They have 6 real good starters if Emerson Hancock pans out. Vegas has them at 85.5 wins. These Seattle Mariners just need to find somebody who can bat. They got Randy Arozarena from Tampa Bay last year. He was starting to figure it out, but Julio Rodriguez had a down year with some injuries. And I feel like he's got another level to hit, does Julio Rodriguez. They got this Victor Robles from Washington, who was a top prospect back in the day, and he seems to be figuring out. It seems like Seattle has a leadoff man now in Victor Robles. Catcher was a Cal Raleigh, their catcher, who's one of the best hitting catchers in baseball. Like he's an all-star. He's a sick player. He fucked the Jays up real good. Cal Raleigh did, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
So yeah, this is a team. Seattle plays in the least hitter-friendly park in all of the major leagues. Colorado Rockies are on one side of the spectrum. That's pure hitting baseball park. Seattle Mariners are on the completely other side of the spectrum. That is pure pitching baseball park. So the question with the Mariners are, do they have the bats needed to get into the playoffs? And I do think they do. I think that they'll sneak into this 5-6 range. 85.5 wins. Give me the over. Give me the Mariners in the playoffs.
Yep, that's a perfect way. You said it all well, man. That was perfectly well said. Let us go to number 4.
Number 4 at 86.5 wins, the Houston Astros. They lost a fair bit from this team. Kyle Tucker, now a Chicago Cub. We have a Boston Red Sox, Alex Bregman. He's been a staple of the Astros. They're going to need some young kids to step up. They do still have a lot of talent, though. Yordan Alvarez, top 5 bat, top 5 most fucking terrifying, scary motherfucker. They call him your dong, Boris, and not because he runs fast.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, that's a fucking good team, man. They're going to be a damn good team this year.
Yeah, Hunter Brown, young pitcher for the Astros. He could be their ace by the time the season ends. He's got a little something, that Hunter Brown. He's a sneaky Cy Young pick for the AL. The Houston Astros are they're kind of like in a lot of ways, they're kind of like the Kansas City Chiefs. Like, I will believe that they're out of the playoffs when they're fucking defeated in the middle of the ring. Until then, you put the Astros in the playoffs.
How many times have people written off the Astros in these previews? Right, only for them to win the division independent. Like it's this team just knows how to win.
Absolutely, they know how to win, and also they know how to cheat. If it's going poorly, they'll just bang on some fucking garbage cans and make the playoffs that way.
Exactly.
All right, so that is your number 4 seed in the AL, the Houston Astros. So AL Central champions, number 3 seed in the American League. I'm thinking Kansas City Royals. I like them to win this division this year. They remind me of the Detroit Tigers, but a little more depth in the pitching staff. They do have one super stud pitcher, Cole Reagans, but they also have Seth Lugo there, who was 4th in Cy Young voting, I believe, or second. No, Seth Lugo was 2nd in Cy Young voting last year. Cole Reagans was 4th. Reagans, I believe, is still a better pitcher, but they have 2 studs in the line, in the rotation. They have a stud in the lineup too. Bobby Witt Jr. could easily win AL MVP. He's a fucking great baseball player, everyday shortstop, plug and play. Bobby Witt Jr. This is a very good team. They made the playoffs last year, did the Kansas City Royals, a surprise team just like their AL Central brethren, the Tigers, 86 wins just like the Tigers, but I like Kansas City way more to repeat that performance and stay at this level.
They're more consistent than the Tigers for sure. I think that this is going to be the first like real legit contender that they've had, Kansas City that is, since 2015, and we all know what happened in 2015.
Yes, we do. Kansas City beat a great, fun Toronto Blue Jays team en route to winning the World Series that year, and I do agree with you. This is easily their best team since then. 2 stud pitchers, 1 absolute all-world batter, and just so much around the roster other than that. So this Kansas City team is for real, and they're going to win the AL Central. There, 82.5 wins for Kansas City. I think that's over. I think they could win 90 this year. Closer to 90 than 80 is what I'm thinking the Kansas City Royals will be. Number 2 seed in the American League, Texas Rangers, your 2023 World Series champion, brutally hungover last year, a classic World Series hangover team. But look at this roster, look at this pitching staff, knowing that Jacob deGrom hopefully apparently is going to be healthy. This is going to require him to actually pitch and pitch well, but he's been one of the most dominant pitchers of the last 10-20 years, maybe longer. Jacob deGrom is absolutely fucking filthy when he's healthy, which we hear that he is. So Vegas has the Texas Rangers at 86.5 wins. That sounds good to me. Texas is really good. I do think they will edge out Houston and Seattle for the AL West crown. They will beat the shit out of the Angels. They will beat the shit out of the Athletics, and they will win that division and finish 2nd in the AL.
Yeah. I think you hit the nail on the head here. They're a lot better than people think. They had a really shit season last year, so it's easy to write them off. But if they, again, I know we say this a lot, but if they stay healthy and they play the way that they're supposed to play, this team is fucking strong as hell. And I think putting them at 2nd is very, 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 very safe.
Evan Carter, young talent. Wyatt Langford, young talent. What about Marcus Simeon still on this team? What about Corey Seager still on this team? Like this is a stacked roster. On paper, I think they're ahead of the Astros. Definitely the lineup is miles ahead of Seattle. Like this is I think top to bottom the best team in the AL West.
Yeah, 100%. 100% they are. And that leaves us with one team, my friend.
Oh, and it hurts.
We've been talking about.
Yeah, and it hurts.
I know.
It hurts so good. How do you like them apples, Boris? The Boston Red Sox.
Look.
86.5. Vegas has them. I think they're going over that. I think they're winning the AL. The Red Sox are fucking good this year.
This is how they bookended their offseason. They started with signing Garrett Crochet. They ended with signing Alex Bregman. That's one of the just based on that alone, this team is going to be fucking good.
Yeah, Walker Buehler coming over from your Los Angeles Dodgers. Yeah. He was hurt pretty badly over the last couple seasons, but did he not pitch the final pitch in the World Series, shutting down the New York Yankees to win the fucking title? He's going to be shutting down the New York Yankees for a couple years here playing in Boston. The Red Sox are fucking nasty on paper. This is a very good team, complete defense, hitting, pitching. And yeah, I like the Red Sox a lot this year.
Yep.
All right, so quickly, let's muck through these playoffs. If we did decide that the Jays are finishing 6th in the AL, going to squeak into the playoffs, they would play Kansas City, Boris. Toronto versus Kansas City, round 1. Fuck it, I'm picking the Jays again. I can't quit you, Toronto. Vladito, please stay. Bo, please stay.
You know what? Honestly, if in a playoff series, as long as Schneider shuts the fuck up, we're good, and they can beat them.
Yes. So Toronto versus KC. Give me Toronto. The 4-5 in this hypothetical would be Houston versus Seattle, and with Houston losing a couple pieces, still being sick, and Seattle just having the punishing rotation that they have, they could throw 3 or 4 quality starting pitchers into their bullpen in the playoffs. Give me Seattle slightly over Houston in that. The 5 over the 4, Seattle to beat Houston round 1.
All right.
So that would mean the number 1 seed, Boston, would play the winner of Houston-Seattle. I have Seattle, but Boston would probably beat Seattle. So we're going to pencil Boston into the ALCS. Now, can we rightly say Toronto's going to go all the way to the ALCS this year? Nope. Probably no. So as much as I want to just say the Jays are going to win and win and win, we eventually have to fucking pump the brakes here. We can't be that big a homer. So Texas beats Toronto. Texas does beat Toronto.
Yeah, agreed. But man, Boston's just too good. Boston's just too good to bet against them. I hate saying it. It hurts me. You can hear the sighs from both of us every time we have to say and put Boston over.
So true, but yet it is the way. Bill Simmons just fapping himself raw because Boston over Texas in the AL, and it is the Bill Simmons Bowl. Los Angeles, Boston in the World Series, the Mookie Betts Bowl. Yep. Los Angeles versus Boston, and as good as Boston is on paper this year. Yeah, man. As good as Boston is on paper this year, do you think they could unseat the Dodgers? Do you think Boston could win that series?
Absolutely not. Again, win or it's a failure. Dodgers all the way.
Dodgers all the way. This is literally the best team on paper since fucking 1998 Yankees, maybe 2001 Mariners were absolutely sick. If you look at the names on that list, this is the best team in 25 years. The best baseball team on paper in at least 25 years. You have to pick the Dodgers. You just have to do it. Baseball's a funny thing, and in a 4-game series, in a 7-game series, you never know. But I have to go Los Angeles Dodgers. The LA Dodgers over Boston, the official A+ World Series selection.
Yeah, there we go. Dodgers to win it all. Red Sox, nice to see you out, but eat shit.
Yes, and like it. All right, so let's talk about some awards real quick, homie.
Yes. All right. Let's start with let's start with the National League. We start with the National League. Start with the National League here. Let's start with the National League. Shall we go Rookie of the Year?
Let's go Rookie of the Year for the National League. I'm into it. I like Dylan Cruz of the Washington Nationals to steal this. Rookie. Yeah, I'm a big Dylan Cruz fan. Center fielder for the Washington Nationals. He's a sick player. He's going to be a stud for a long time.
You know
in
who
baseball.
my choice is.
Now I imagine I know who you're going to pick. I'll let you make that selection. Yes, I do. Tell us, Boris.
It's going to be Roki Sasaki. I think I'm going to put him in a pencil. Dylan Cruz is a close second. Matt Shaw. Who's that guy from Atlanta? AJ
Chicago
Smith.
Cub.
AJ Smith from the Braves is also in contention, but it's going to be between Dylan Cruz and Roki Sasaki, and I'm a big homer, so we're gonna go with Roki Sasaki.
I wouldn't expect anything less from you, brother. But yeah, no, Roki Sasaki's already got some major league experience now playing in Tokyo. He beat the Cubs. He looked a little iffy in that first game, but that's fine. It's just the first game. He only has 2 pitches as it stands right now, but boy, they're both sick. And that's not to say he won't add another, like a slider curveball situation. I do think Roki Sasaki, he's a young kid. He's much younger than people usually are when they come from Japan, even younger than Ohtani was, right? So Roki Sasaki has a lot of time to develop and learn. He's playing with some of the greatest players alive and one of the greatest staffs ever assembled. I'm sure he's going to be fine. So yes, Roki Sasaki, I do think is a great pick for Rookie of the Year. Bubba Chandler from Pittsburgh is another guy who could win it, but I accept your selection of Roki.
All right, let's go to the NL Cy Young. Let's stick with the NL. Let's talk about the Cy Young. Again, I'm just going to give my choice because I'm going to be a real homer for all these picks. I really do think that Blake Snell is going to have a outstanding fucking year to win the Cy Young in 2025. If not him, then I'm going to give it to Yoshinobu Yamamoto of both of the Dodgers. Like I said, I'm being biased, a biased MFer right now.
Blake Snell has 2 on his shelf already, if I'm not mistaken. Like, that's not a terrible pick at all. And Yoshinobu Yamamoto has looked unbelievable in his MLB career. And already in the Tokyo series against Chicago, he shut the Cubs down real good. He's an awesome pick. I just think Paul Skenes is already the best pitcher alive. And if Pittsburgh is going to win anything this year, it's going to be because of him. I think he's appointment viewing already. As long as he doesn't throw his arm out because he's an absolute fucking fireball back there. I'm going to go with Paul Skenes. It might be a little too early. I might be shooting my wad off prematurely here on Paul, but I'm sure he's done the same thing with Livy a number of times. Let's go Paul Skenes and El Cy Young.
Yep. Other notables here: Chris Sale, Corbin Burns, Zach Wheeler. There's just honestly, this one's typically the NL Cy Young is like, you kind of know who's going to win right away, but this is a really good depth that they have this year.
Absolutely. Yeah. Chris Sale came out of nowhere because he's been sick, but nobody expected him to be Cy Young level again with Atlanta, but he won it last year. You mentioned some names already. Like, yeah, there's some big dogs out there for sure. Even Shota Imanaga for the Cubs pitched really well. Yes. It wouldn't shock me if he took another step up. But yeah, I'm liking Skenes, and I think your 2 selections of either Yamamoto or Blake Snell from your Dodgers are obviously great calls as well.
Yep. All right. Now the big one, the National League MVP. Again, yes, I have to go with it. Shohei Ohtani. Which, by the way, I always had faith in him. Always knew he was the greatest player alive. Never doubted it for 1 second.
You definitely can't go back in our archives and see him doubting it numerous times. You can't. Don't do it. But I know Ohtani might be the greatest player we've ever seen. He's the best player since fucking Babe Ruth. He is the MVP until he is defeated in the ring, which if he starts pitching again and he needs another Tommy John, he blows out his elbow. That could be a different thing. But so Shohei Ohtani's already pitched too much. He's already blown out his elbow. He only hit last year, and all he did was set the all-time record for being the first guy to be 50-50. He hit 50 home runs and stole 50 bases in the same season. No one has ever done that in the 150-year history of baseball. He's the only guy to match that kind of power with that kind of all stallions. There's no reason to pick against Ohtani. Of course, if he's healthy, of course he's going to win the MVP again.
Yeah, exactly. All right, let us switch to the American League. Let us start with the Rookie of the Year. This one, honestly, was a little harder for me. I'm gonna go a little off the chart on this one. He's talked about. I've read a lot about him, but there's something about Cam Smith that I'm really, really fucking liking.
Nice. That's who does he play for? Actually, I don't have him in my bag right now. Cam Smith.
Astros.
Cam Smith from the Houston Astros, third baseman. I'm looking here. He has made the opening day roster for the Astros. That's a deep cut. The Astros need a new third baseman. Alex Bregman skipped town. Good on you, Boris. I like this pick for. Yeah. He's gonna get his chance. He's gonna get his fucking chance for sure.
Yep. What's your pick?
All right. My pick for Rookie of the Year, I am going to go Jason Dominguez, brother of Jason Derulo. Yeah, Jason Dominguez, left fielder for the New York Yankees. I think he's going to get a lot of opportunity. He's not the next Juan Soto. As good as he is, he won't be that, but he's going to be a bright spot for the New York Yankees this year. He's going to get all the chances in the world to do it. And I like the profile of this player. He's somebody I've had my eye on for a long time. He's finally going to be a full-time major league player. And I think he's going to rise up to the challenge. The Yankees need him. The Yankees need him. And I think, like I said, like someone's got to do it. And I do think Dominguez is a great shout to perhaps take that step up to superstardom in the Bronx. So I'm going Yankees, Jason Dominguez.
Yeah, great choice. I think that's a very safe one as well. Let us move on to the American League Cy Young. I talked about him earlier. He's going to make it to the World Series with his team. I'm going to have to give it to Garrett Crochet. I just think that with the team behind him, the pressure of getting signed by the Red Sox, I think that he's just a standout player at this point.
I think we're going to agree on this one, just like we did with Shohei Ohtani. I'm with you. Garrett Crochet, AL Cy Young winner for the Boston Red Sox. Excuse me while I throw up in my fucking mouth.
I know, right?
There are some other candidates we mentioned. Oh, boo. We mentioned Cole Ragans. He could easily win it too. Hunter Brown from Houston is someone who could take a big step up. Give me one of 5 pitchers on Seattle. I wouldn't bat an eye if they want it. Logan, Tariq Skubal, absolutely. Tarek, I believe you're right on the pronunciation there. Tarek Skubal from the Detroit Tigers could easily do it, but I'm with you. I have written down here Garrett Crochet. Let's make that the official A+ pick. Garrett Crochet to win the Cy Young.
Hold on, I need to take a shit right now after that one. All right. American League MVP. It's easy to say Judge, but I'm going to throw you something from left field. Bobby Witt Jr.
Great selection. Bobby Witt can easily do it. Plays that premium position, shortstop, which voters tend to like. He's a good defender and an incredible bat. A 5-tool player, really. Maybe not that power tool, but he can do everything else. This kid's sick. I'm going to go Homer. I'm going full Boris Homer mode. Vladito. Contract year Vladito. Placata. All over the place. With Aaron Judge to take it down year and no Shohei Ohtani to steal the award from him. He's finally going to win in his AL MVP, and he's going to hit the open market as an AL MVP who won a playoff series with Toronto, and he's going to get a fat fucking bag of money next year, hopefully from Rogers.
Yeah, that's the thing, right? That was going to be, if you didn't say Vlad, and I was pretty sure you were going to say him. Yeah, Vladimir is a very safe bet. Like we say, it's a contract year. He is a good player. I feel like he is going to get the respect from the pitchers because we do have more offense around him. Very good pick. He's a bit of a dark horse. Other people that could get it, Gunnar Henderson, Jordan Alvarez from Houston. We have Corey Seager from the Twins. Like he's still fucking good. Or Texas, sorry. Twins.
Texas.
Yes.
Yeah. The Texas Twins? Yeah, no, yes. Corey Seager from Texas absolutely is still good. Yes. Absolutely was fucking filthy in the World Series in 2023 when the Texas Rangers won it. He's an excellent pick. Honestly, like he hasn't quite been MVP level in his career, but Alex Bregman is somebody who I would be pretty scared of. I think he's going to be awesome in Boston. He's going to have a really good year for sure. With New York Yankees, you always have Aaron Judge, but I think Aaron Judge is going to be a little by himself on that team. So yeah, I'm taking Vladdy, but I love your pick of Bobby Witt. It could be Bobby Witt's year easily.
Yep. Yeah, there we go, man. That is baseball in 2025. We're going to revisit this as we preview the playoffs way down in October. Matt, it's been fun. It's always a good time.
Yeah, man, this is one of my favorite podcasts of the year. Talking ball with you, baseball, Boris. I know you love the sport so much, big homie. And this was a blast. Go Blue Jays. God damn it, we both love Boston. I hope we jinxed them, brother. I hope we jinxed them.
One of two things is gonna happen: we either jinx them, or they're going to like freaking sweep the Dodgers in the World Series, and I'm gonna cry in a corner.
At least that would make me smile.
Yeah, exactly. A+Productions.com is the best place to find everything for A+ Productions, whether it be A+ Entertainment, A+ Sports, A+ Wrestling. Just a reminder that we are going to be changing. We have changed the date for the wrestling show. Sometimes it'll be a straight up wrestling show. Sometimes it'll be a BAM Classic where we talk about it all. It really depends what mood we're in, because that's what we like to do. We just like to have fun. We podcast for fun. And until it is not fun, we will be podcasting. So watch out for a show later this week. Spotify is being a little bitch, so you might have to go to YouTube or other platforms to get the show. But yeah, aplusproductions.com is the best place to get everything. Join in the conversation. The best place to do that is going to facebook.com and then searching for A+ Productions. We have wrestling chats, we have sports chats, we have entertainment chats. Great group there with some great content. And thank you to everyone for participating there. And thank you to everyone for listening. Whether this is the first episode or the 100th episode, we honestly do thank you. Again, we do this for fun and we do this for you. We'll be back later this week talking some wrestling and maybe more here on A+ Productions. On behalf of Matt and the entire A+ crew, thank you so much for listening. But more importantly, stay tranquilo.